Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports, is in the house. Woohoo! We've reached the Friday Jeff Kerr segment, which you never know where this might go. Here we go, Jeff Kerr. The Eagles being busy today, doing some due diligence. I'm interested in your take on this. Kerryon Johnson is released by the Lions a couple days ago, picked up by the Eagles. And I found this to be interesting because they drafted Kenneth Gainwell. They signed Jordan Howard. So what's the fit here?
Well, Mike, I definitely didn't expect to be talking about Kerryon Johnson an hour ago, and I just wrote the story up for CBS to see where he fits. And honestly, he could be the number 2 running back in this rotation. I mean, look, you got Miles Sanders. He's the clear number 1, no doubt. But the Eagles definitely want to spread the ball around and limit his touches as much as they can. That's why I think they brought in a guy like Kerryon Johnson. So you got him in there. You got Boston Scott. You got Kenny Gainwell. You got Jordan Howard. I mean, someone's going to be yobbing out here. I don't think it's going to be Gainwell. I don't think it's going to be Boston Scott. And I don't think it's going to be Kerryon Johnson either. So it looks like, Jordan Howard, Adrian Killins, and those guys, I don't think they're going to be here.
Well, it's funny. Pro Football Focus put this out. The 2 highest graded pass-blocking running backs since 2016. Number 1 is Jordan Howard, and number 2 is Kerryon Johnson. So they have added guys who can protect in the backfield. And Kerryon Johnson and Jordan Howard are both bigger, 210-plus pound guys. So you wonder if they're battling each other for a roster spot. Do they keep them both? I found it to be a very intriguing signing today because of the style.
Yeah, I did too. And look, the whole pass blocking thing is great, but what I like about Johnson is his rookie year. Before he had the knee strain, he was one of only 10 running backs to have over 100 carries and average over 5.4 yards per carry since the merger in 1970. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I think that it's only 10 of them. And I know Thomas Rawls is on that list, and we know Thomas Rawls is out of the league, but there are some good running backs on there, like Franco Harris, Adrian Pearson. There are some good running backs. So this kid is talent. He's only, 24, 25 years old? He's only going to
23.
Yeah. How old is he?
23.
23, yeah. See, he's not even that old yet.
No, and he was the 43rd pick, which essentially says, hey, we don't draft running backs in the first round, but you're that good that we want to take you at 43 overall. And we know the Lions running back situation has been a mess. But as you mentioned, his rookie year, he had a lot of success, almost 700 yards, caught the football. Then he had these knee problems. So that's the thing. How healthy is he? Is that one of the reasons why he hasn't been able to crack their rotation? Because they had Adrian Peterson running the ball there last year.
Yeah, last year he was like the number 3 running back for them. I remember watching a couple Lions games late in the year. I remember I did the Week 16 game against Tampa Bay, and I'm thinking to myself, wait a second, Kerryon Johnson? Are you kidding me? Like, he can't even get on the field right now, even in a blowout? Like, this is ridiculous. And, that's when I kind of knew the Lions, there was maybe something up with him. Maybe he was just, the 3rd-string running back on the depth chart, but it didn't look like he was coming back to the Lions. I was kind of shocked they didn't release him earlier, but, kudos to the Eagles. I mean, the guy's worth the $2.02 million I think he's going to get, since the Eagles picked up the last year of his contract. I guess it's only 1.3 million against the cap for them. So it's worth taking a flyer on. If he can be a good number 2 running back guy, Miles Sanders, and who knows, if Miles Sanders gets hurt again, this guy is, pretty much next in line to receive feature carries right now. I don't think the Eagles want to rely on Boston Scott and a 5th-round rookie to do that.
Yeah, so the fit there is, more depth, competition, and a guy who has a lot of talent. So it should be interesting. And you know what it shows me is that Philadelphia is still looking to improve this roster. I thought that was an interesting part of this is, hey, here's a talented guy. Take a flyer and bring him in because we want to keep adding talent. That tells me they want to keep adding talent if it's out there.
That means, to me at least, they're going to at least try to sign a cornerback if they see one fit. Or, as we talked about on Wednesday, trade for a cornerback. I think that's ultimately the route they're going to do. But you're right, Mike. They are ultimately looking to make this roster better. They aren't satisfied. Even though they were deep at running back, now they're really deep at running back. Now you got 7, 8 guys that could probably make a football team, and only 4 is going to make it. I still think Jordan Howard has a place in this league. It just may not be with the Philadelphia Eagles. Adrian Killins, great addition to a practice squad, but doesn't look like he'll make this roster.
Yeah.
There's Jason Huntley. I mean, Jason Huntley was a talented running back last year.
Detroit, by the way.
Yeah, and he was part of the problem with the Eagles overall. I mean, really, Huntley was a fine player, but the Eagles were a 4-win football team for a reason. He was on that. So, maybe Huntley finds his footing somewhere else. Maybe he finds it on the Eagles practice squad, but again, all of a sudden, a position that was really weak 2 months ago is deep.
All right, Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports, the NFL. Steven Nelson, Garyon Conley, we talked a little bit about these guys. Richard Sherman, I think Brashad Breeland was another guy. Is it more likely you sign one of those or trade for one? What's the better scenario for Howie Roseman and the Eagles?
I think there are better options on the trade market. We just don't know who's out there on the trade market. We don't really know who's available. I mean, really, the Eagles' best option was Kyle Fuller. They just couldn't pay for him. I mean, $9 million a year was too much. And, a lot of people want them to go cornerback in this draft, but maybe the Eagles have another plan. Again, this 2022 draft is so rich in talent, and the Eagles have 10 draft picks. I can see them parting ways with a second or third round pick to get a stud cornerback in the year. I don't even want to say a stud, but a more than capable NFL starting cornerback next to Darius Slay. So if they do that, I'm all for it. Of the free agent guys, Sherman would be nice, but I just don't think he fits what the Eagles are trying to do. That's the problem. I think he'll stay out on the West Coast, or if he goes anywhere, he'll go to the New Orleans Saints if he doesn't go back to San Fran or back to Seattle. I don't think he's going back to San Fran. I know he's open to a Seahawks reunion, so that would be interesting. Brashad Breeland has experience in the NFC East. I wouldn't mind him as, again, he's a capable starter. It's not like he's terrible, but you got to wonder what the injury problems are there. Those are probably the two best options on the free agent market. So, and again, they were interested in Garyon Conley a couple years ago. I don't know. I just think if they're going to go get a cornerback, I think trading a draft pick is the safest route at this point.
Yeah, and I was looking earlier, so people were asking, who can they trade for? Because a lot of people have said, you can't. It's hard to trade for a starting corner. The way they got Darby a couple of years ago, Jeff, was that team got a new defensive coordinator, and the coordinator didn't think Darby fit in their system, which made him expendable. Who fits that bill? Well, off the top of our heads, I don't know, but I'm looking at the new coaches in this league, and one of them is the Jets. And Joe Douglas and Howie Roseman know each other's phone number pretty well. I just don't know what Jet corner, and by the way, there's been a lot of talk like, hey, Joe Douglas, maybe he wants Zach Ertz for his new quarterback, Zach Wilson. So I'm just trying to connect some dots here, but I don't know, that scenario that happened in 2017 where the new team, new coach didn't think Darby fit their system. That's a really long shot to try to find something like that happen again.
Yeah, it is. And really, the Jets are probably the only team you could think of off the top of the bat. The Dallas Cowboys have Dan Quinn as their defensive coordinator, but why would the Cowboys help the Eagles and trade? No, that's not going to happen.
Hey, I said they're not trading on draft night, and I was wrong. I ain't wrong about this. They are not saying, hey, you want one of our – and by the way, what corner on that wretched defense would anybody want?
That's what I said, too. The Detroit Lions could be another one, but who would want any of the Lions corners? They were terrible. And the Lions aren't trading the number 3 overall pick from a year ago with Jeff Good. They're just not doing that. So there really isn't anybody that's worth getting unless the Eagles can find a way to maybe, I don't know, trade with the Cardinals, I guess. But why would Vance Joseph want to trade any of those cornerbacks? They're already having problems trying to get guys to play man there. So it's going to be tough. It really is.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be like a veteran who's an odd man out that got outplayed by a rookie. It might have to be when Darby came here, and that was the second, third week of training camp.
Yep, and I'm just, again, for the listeners out there, if you want to start combing some of the rosters, I would look at the teams that have new head coaches who might have brought in a new defensive guy. I said, who did that? Philly. You can't trade with yourself. So you're kind of stuck in that situation because Jonathan Gannon is going to run a different defensive scheme. Like when Russell Douglas was with Philly, he didn't fit Jim Schwartz's defense really per se. He went to Carolina, fit their defense a little better. Now I think he's in Oakland. Sidney Jones did not fit the Philadelphia defense, went to Jacksonville and fit that defense a little bit better.
Now here's one for you. Could the Eagles possibly bring a Sidney Jones back? Because Jacksonville all of a sudden has an abundance of cornerbacks now. I'm just wondering here. Maybe he works in, again, it's the same environment, but it's a different system. It's a different coaching staff.
Yeah.
You never know. They could take a flyer on a guy like that. I mean, they're at least familiar with the guy.
Makes some sense. He would make sense. I just don't know if, how that works in terms of.
This isn't baseball. We'll say that.
Right. Well, and making trades in the NFL at this stage of the offseason doesn't happen, right? I mean, you just don't see trades happen in May in the NFL. You would be waiting. You're going to probably be waiting. Now, people on the video chat over here, Kyle Dubray says Stephon Gilmore will be an Eagle. I'm calling it. We've had a couple people mention Gilmore to the Pats that they don't want him anymore.
The Patriots trade him.
Do they want Zach Ertz?
But again, like, I know he's not happy there, but do you give up that much of an asset? Can the Eagles afford that contract?
Well,
that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, if they don't, like, if Gilmore and New England are having some friction and you can get in, like, you know that New England has struggled last year with the tight end situation, right? It's not a bad. It's not a. I don't know how old Gilmore is.
Situation's been atrocious for years, ever since Gronk left or Gronk retired. I mean, Matt Lacoste and Ryan Izzo just Matt LaCroix. I always say his last name wrong, but yeah, him and Ryan Izzo, they just don't get the job done. So yeah, maybe Zach Ertz could be a piece for them, but
both guys
the Patriots have traded before. This isn't new.
Both guys 30, right? I think Ertz is 30 and Gilmore is also 30. It's not an off the wall. Hey, we need a corner. You need a tight end. We'll throw in
we'll throw in a draft pick in there. It's not off the wall. I don't know. I feel like New England, Bill Belichick still has this winning mentality, and I feel like Stephon Gilmore gives him the best chance to win. The Patriots just don't give players away. And if they do give players away, that's what makes me worry about a guy like Stephon Gilmore. Is he good anymore?
Yeah. All right. Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports. And Kerryon Johnson signs with the Eagles today, a second-round pick in 2018, running back. So they add to the running back room there. And look, I think another part of that is, Jeff, Nick Sirianni, the message when he spoke was competition, even to the point where people went crazy that he wouldn't announce who the starting quarterback was because his message is competition. Right. Well, his message is competition. And I think this is a move that stresses that more competition. And one thing I'm interested, okay, this is where I kind of want to get your thoughts on. Adding the competition, but also, does this kind of say they don't think Miles Sanders is a 3-down player?
I don't think there are many 3-down running backs in football anymore to begin with. So I don't think this is a knock on Miles Sanders. I just think this is a way they preserve Miles Sanders. Because, look, there's going to be another third down back on the field anyway. So, yeah, I don't think it's a lack of faith in Miles Sanders. I just think it's more of, hey, let's cover our tracks in case Miles Sanders has a really good year and wants to get paid.
Well, he didn't catch the ball all that well last year. So on third downs,
I blame somebody else on that one. That's he who shall not be named. You all know who I'm talking about.
Okay, duly noted. But there were some throws that hit him in the hands sometimes.
Oh, yeah, he dropped a couple. I'm not saying that. I'm just going by a certain guy's past history.
You're right.
Not throwing balls accurately, the running back.
You are right. Okay, I want to throw this scenario at you because you know I have been the one reflection on the draft that I go back to is could Philly have made the trade that New York made, right? And I don't know if you read the piece at The Athletic that talked to the executives that threw that out there, that Eagles had all these different roads and paths they could have gone down, one of which was stay at 6 and draft somebody up there. I don't care for that path. I'm okay trading back. But the one to the to the Bears, that one sticks in my head. But another thing they said, an executive when asked about Dallas, was Dallas might have had the same option, but had to decide between the Bears trade and the Eagles trade, and they opted to go and get Parsons rather than go back to 20 and take whoever they have got there. But they only got a third-round pick from Philly. They would have got a first-round pick if they did that. So do you think that Stephen Jones is sitting there with two offers, one from Philly and one from Chicago, when it was his turn to pick?
I just think Stephen Jones said, look, we're not passing up the opportunity to draft Micah Parsons, the best defensive player in this draft, and we'll take Philly's offer and gain an extra third-round pick off of that because we believe in our draft board and we believe in our guys, and we could still get our guy at 10. At 12, and that's what happened. They basically said, look, we know the Giants want Devonta Smith, so let's kill two birds with one stone here. The Eagles can get their guy. We'll be okay with facing him twice a year. Oh, by the way, we made the Giants' lives miserable in the process.
Right. It's funny because can you imagine sitting there and having that phone ring and having those two options? Hey, I'm in your division. I will trade you a third-round pick to move 2 spots. And then, oh, wait, hold on, Howie. I got another call coming in. Hi, it's Ryan Pace. We're interested in moving to your spot. We'll give you a first-round pick next year if you want to swap out. And you're like, I'm on the clock here in like 3 minutes, and I have to make this decision. That is what makes the drama of the draft so good.
It makes you wonder what the Giants draft board actually was. Gettleman can say whatever he wants about Kadarius Toney, but I swear to God, their draft board was Devonta Smith, and that was it. And then the Eagles just blew it for them, and they're like, "Oh, we got to go back in the recon mode here. We got to trade 9 spots down because we really don't know what to do now."
ESPN did that article about they basically talked to the college coaches,
the coordinators. Yeah, I saw that.
And the guy said that the Giants were livid when Devonta Smith got taken. I just
wrote a story on that coach, actually. What he was saying, it's like, yeah, they like Kadarius Toney, but from what reading between the lines, it just didn't seem like he was even a thing until they traded down and had to regroup. It was like they, okay, we lost the battle. We got to make sure we don't lose the war. And, they got the extra first-round pick, and I'm sure they're happy about that. But they just seem like the team that they want Devonta Smith. And from what I know, the Eagles wanted him too, and they knew they had to jump the Giants together. Yeah.
All right, Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports. We always have fun talking a little NFL at Jeff Kerr, CBS. And he, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. All right, man, have a great weekend. We'll do it again on Monday.
You too, Mike. Hey, the schedule release is coming next week, and it's our final exciting part of the offseason.
No. We got OTAs. We've got mini camps.
But I don't even know if I can go. None of us know we can go.
Right, true.
I don't even know the players are going at this point.
That is true. We will, of course, have that news next week here on the Sports Bash. All right, pal.
Sounds great. Thanks, Mike.
All right, that's Jeff Kerr, CBS Sports.